Tuples in Python are used when you don't want anyone to add more data to your variables. And in this video, we will be discussing about how tuples are created, how we can iterate in tuples, what are the different functions related to the tuples. So hello everyone and a very warm welcome to WsCube Tech. My name is Ayushi Jain, and as we have discussed that in this complete module, we will be discussing about tuples in Python. Before that, if you want to become a successful data analyst and if you want to learn data analytics live from our experts, then you can call on the number provided on your screen, or you can click on the link that is provided in our description. Not just that, with our every batch you get 2 of demo classes for free. So now let's get started with the tuples, guys. With our new topic, that is tuples. Let's see what is tuples. So guys, tuples here are a collection of ordered and unmutable data. Now guys, ordered, we know ordered means that they are arranged with a proper index, but here unmutable means that once a tuple is created, it cannot be changed. In the lists are mutable. List once created can be changed, but tuples here are unmutable. That means once a tuple is created, it cannot be changed with the help of our inbuilt function. Okay guys, so there are a few things about the tuples that for tuples, when we create a tuples, no bracket is required, and even if you want to put a bracket, you can use parentheses, but nothing is mandatory over there. Tuples are again a comma separated values. You can use multiple data types inside the tuples, just like how you can do it in a list. So let's have a look on how tuples are created. So to create a tuple, all you need to do is write A is equals to, you can directly write the values inside it. Let's say 12, 30, 1.45, hello, bye. And if I will check the type of it, if I write print type A, it will give me a tuple, that it belongs to the classes of tuple. Right. So in the example, I have also used multiple data types, which means that tuples can have a multiple data type. If I print it, we will get the output as well. To print a tuple, all we need to do is write print and the name of the tuple. So if I print A over here and run it, it will give me all the elements of the tuple. But when we receive it as an output, the brackets are added over here. If we want to add a bracket over here, yes, we can add a bracket over here as well, but it is not mandatory. Another thing about tuple, we discussed that no inbuilt functions can be worked on tuple. For example, let's say if I try to add something, I'm just showing you as an example that if I try to a dot append, let's say I want to add 23 in it, and if I try to print it, it will throw me an error that attribute tuple has no object. It says attribute error that tuple object has no attribute append. That means tuple has no function as append, or even if you try to add something to it, if I write add over here, that thing will also not work. Why? Because tuples once created, they cannot be changed with any of the inbuilt functions. So guys, there is one more thing about tuples. Let's say I'm creating a list over here that I have a list of one number 12. If I print a type of it and run it, it will tell me that it belongs to the classes of list. At the same time, if I create a tuple over here with one element inside it, so even if I put it inside a comma and I'll write 12 over here, I'll close it. And if I try to print type of B and run it, so you will notice over here that here it is writing string, that it belongs to the classes of string. So now what can be done when we have a tuple, when inside a tuple we only have a one element? So to call it as a tuple, all you need to do is, whenever this condition is only for when you have a one element inside a tuple, that you can put a comma in the end. So now if I run it, I will get it as a tuple. So guys, if you don't put a comma over there and if you have only one element inside the tuple, it will be called as a string. But if you want to convert it to a tuple, if you want to call it a tuple, all you need to do is, after writing the one element, put a comma in the end. So guys, this was about tuples. In our next session, we will be discussing more on tuples, how slicing and iteration inside the tuples can be done. So let's understand it with the help of an examples over here. So guys, just like how we have done slicing in lists, similarly slicing in tuples can also be done. So guys, let's say I'm considering a case over here where I'm creating a tuple. Inside it, I'm adding 3 to 4 values. Let's say I'm adding Iron Man, Thor, Vision, and Captain America. Right. Now what I need to do the slicing of this. I need to slice elements from this tuple. So for slicing, we already know that we use the index numbers over here. So let's see how it can be done over here. So first of all, what I will be doing, I will be slicing the two center elements over here. For that, all I need to do is I need to take a starting value, that a starting value would be our 1, that we know that our Thor is on number 1 index, colon, we will be going to up to vision. So vision, we know that it is on number 2 index, but because we use +1 over here, we will be writing it up to 3. Okay, let's run and see what we get. We get Thor and vision, right? Similarly, if you want to take first two elements, all you need to do is write print a. As we want to go for the first three elements, I don't need to define the starting value. So for starting value, I'll directly put a colon over here, but I do have to define that where our slicing is going to end. So our slicing is going to end on, let's say, vision over here. So vision is on 1, 2 number, and because it's on number 2, we will be writing number 3 over here, that we will be going from 1 to 3. And let's run and see. Yes, we get Iron Man, Thor and vision over here. Similarly, if you're talking about the last two elements over here, so I'll be writing print. My last second element is vision. So for vision, I can write -2 a inside the square bracket. I'll be writing -2, and I don't need to define the end of it because I know I want to go all the way towards the end. So if I run it, let's see what do we get. We get Vision and Captain America. Right. Now what if I want to write Iron Man and Vision and skip the Thor and Captain America over here? So here we will be using the gaps of our slicing. For that, all I need to do is write print a. I will not be defining the starting and the ending value because I know I need to go all the way through the tuple. I'll be not defining the starting value. I'll be not defining the ending value, but I will be saying that there should be a gap of 2. It should skip one element in between. So all I need to write is 2 over here. And as soon as I run it, I'll get Iron Man. It will skip Thor over here and give me Vision. Similarly, if you want to receive a reverse of the tuple, all you need to do is how we have done it in the list and the strings as well. We will not be defining the starting value, not be defining the ending value, but we will be telling them that we want a reverse of it, reverse of the whole tuple. So for that, we will be writing print a. Inside the square bracket, I'm not defining it, and I'll be writing -1 as we have been doing. So we will receive the reverse of this tuple, that is Captain America, then Vision, then Thor, and then Iron Man. Similarly, if you want a reverse in a particular range also, all you need to do is, let's say I'll write A, and I want to reverse a small part of it. So let's say I want to reverse Iron Man, Thor, and Vision. So I'll be providing it with index number over here. So Vision is on -2, and I'll be going towards the end, and then I will be writing our gap value. So that would be, or let's say -1. So if I run it, I'll be getting Vision, Thor, and Iron Man. That I have started from Vision, and I'm going all the way towards the starting. That's why I have written -2. I have not defined the ending value, but I'm going -1. That's why I got Vision, Thor, and Iron Man. So guys, this was slicing in tuples. Next topic that we have over here is iteration in tuples. Just like how we have iterated the elements of the list, we will be learning how to iterate the elements of the tuples. So guys, for iterating the elements of the tuples, all we need to do is use a for loop directly. The first method that we will be discussing is using for using for loop directly, all I need to do is write for I, and I'll be writing the name of our tuple, that is A, print I. Let's run and see what we get. So once we run, it will iterate all the values. That means iteration over here means that for loop is going to each index and providing us the value of each index that is there inside the tuple. So we have got Iron Man, Thor, Vision, and Captain America in 4 different lines using the for loop. Similarly, if you want to do it with the help of the range method, what we need to do is, I'll be considering the same example over here. I'll be defining a range. Let's say k is equals to len of a. So guys, why I'm writing k over here and taking the length of it? Because length will define that how long our tuple is. So we don't have to write the 4 elements are there. All we can do is we can write the length of it. So if I write 4, I in range. So starting value would be 0. That first it will start from 0 index, that is our Iron Man, comma, and then it will keep going up to the end. So end would be the length of this tuple, that is 4. Or we can directly write k over here because we have provided with the length of it inside the k variable. I'll put a colon over here. What I will be printing? I will be printing A's. Inside it, I'll be writing I. So I'll be writing the list with each index number in each line. So first of all, A of I, that means A of 0 will provide me with Iron Man. A of 1 will provide me with Thor. A of 2 will provide me with Vision. And A of 3 will provide me with Captain America. Let's run and see what happens. So when I run this program, I receive Iron Man, Thor, Vision, and Captain America. So guys, in this method, we learned how we can iterate using a for loop and a range method together. So guys, here we have learned how we can use for loop to iterate tuples with a range. Now talking about the while loop over here. So guys, iteration in the tuples can also be done by using the while loop. So I'm considering the same example over here. So I have a similar tuple over here. All I need to do is use while loop to iterate it. First of all, what I will be doing, I'll be creating a variable, let's say I, whose value is 0 because it starts from the 0 index. Then I'll be providing it with a condition over here that while I is smaller than length of this tuple, that is A, in that condition, what we need to do, we need to print the tuple, that is A, and inside the brackets, I'll be writing I will be the index number starting from the 0 and it will go all the way towards the end of the length of the list. So till the time the I is smaller than the length of the list. So length of the list is 4 and till the time the I will be smaller than the length of the list. That means first it will go for 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and as soon as the 4 will come, it will stop executing. We'll be printing it. Now, in the while loop, we all know that the increment is done inside the loop. So here, I'll be increasing I by 1. So I plus is equals to 1 over here. Now, let's run and see what do we get. So if I run this program, we get Iron Man, Thor, Vision, and Captain America, just like how we got it before while using the for loop, just like how we got it before while using the for loop. So guys, iteration in the tuples can also be done with the help of the while loop over here. First of all, what is conversion of tuples? So conversion of tuples means what if we want to add something to the tuple? We know that the tuples are unmutable. Unmutable means once a tuple is created, it cannot be changed. So now to change it, suppose there is a need to change a tuple, there is a need to add something, there is a need to remove something. How it can be converted into a list and then converted back to tuple after making the changes. Let's have a look on how it can be done. So guys, here I'm considering an example. Here I'm creating a tuple over here with the 3 elements inside it. Let's say I'm taking 10, 20 and 30. Now what I need to do, I'll print it first of all. That print A. I'll be also printing the type of it. That print type A. So as soon as I run it, we get the output that we have 10, 20 and 30 and it belongs to the classes of tuples. Now let's say I want to make a change to a tuple. I want to add something to a tuple. So what can be done to make a change to a tuple or add or remove something from a tuple? We can convert it into a list and then do the list functions to it and then convert it back to tuple. How it can be done? Let's have a look. So I'm creating a variable B over here, that B is equals to list A, right? Now if I print B, so now I'm considering the same tuple over here, that A is equals to list A. If I print it and also print the type of it, let's run and see what do we get. So previously it was a tuple. After doing the conversion of tuple into a list, we have got it in a list inside the square bracket and it tells us that it belongs to the classes of list. Now what we can do, we can now provide it with any method that we have inside our list. Suppose if I want to add an element to it, let's say I want to add 40 to it. So all I need to do is write a dot append 40 and if I print A and run this program. So now you can see we have received with a list which has 10, 20, 30, 44 elements over here. 40 has been added to a list. Now to convert it back, all we need to do is write A is equals to tuple A and we will print it as well and check the type of it as well. So print type A. Now let's run and see what output do we get over here. So we can see that now it has been converted back to a tuple. We can clearly see that there is a parenthesis over here and it says that it belongs to the classes of tuple. So initially we had a tuple over here A which had 3 elements, and if we wanted to add an element to it, all we did is we converted to a list, used the functions of list to it, and then converted back to a tuple. This is how we can use any method to it. We can provide it with any list method by converting it to a list and converting it back to a tuple. So I hope guys conversion of tuples is very clear to you. Now moving ahead, our next topic here is that what tuple methods we have over here in Python. So we have very simple tuple methods that we have had in our list, that is the length and the count. We can count how many times any element is occurring inside the tuple, and we can also count what is the length of the tuple. We cannot use any other inbuilt functions inside it because as tuple is an unmutable data type, no as tuple is the unmutable data types, no changes can be made to it. That's why only length and count function can be used on it. So let's see how it can be done. If I want to find the length of it, all I need to do is write print length of A. So if I write len of A and run the program, so I will get 3 over here, that there are 3 elements. Suppose at the same time if I have 10, 20 and again 10 over here, and I want to count how many times any element is occurring over here, all I need to do is write print A dot count. What I want to count how many times number 10 is occurring over here. So if I run it, I get that I get the count over here 3, that number 10 is occurring 3 times. Similarly, if I want to check it for any other number, let's say I want to check it for 30. If I run the program, it will tell me that it is occurring 1 time inside the tuple. So these were 2 basic functions that we have inside the tuples. Our first question over here says write a program to take a user input and add it to a tuple. So all we need to do is take a user input and add it to a tuple. No, that's not going to be easy. Why? It's not going to be a very simple method because tuples are immutable. That means once a tuple is created, it cannot be changed. Now how to add something to it? So all we need to do is we need to convert it to a list and then convert it back to a tuple. When we are adding it, we will be adding it to a list and then we will be converting it back to the tuple. So let's have a look on how it can be done. So for this, all I'm going to do is I'll be creating a tuple over here, an empty tuple over here, that is A is equals to tuple, and I'll put an open close parentheses over here. After that, I need to take a user input for any certain number or any certain letter or word they want to write over here. So I'll be taking a user input. Let's take it for number. That number is equals to int input, enter a number here. Now our task over here is that whatever number this person gives to us, we need to add it to our tuple, right? So for that, first of all, let's convert this tuple into a list. To convert it into a list, I'll be writing A is equals to list A. So once I have converted it to the list, what I will be doing, I will be adding this element to our list. So for adding it, we need to write A dot append. That means inside this list, we will be appending our number and we will print the list as well to see if it is working properly or not. So if I run it over here, let's say I'll write 12. So 12 gets printed over here in a list. Now what I need to do is I need to add it to a tuple. That means I need to convert it back to a tuple. So here all I need to do is write A is equals to tuple A. And after this, if I print A over here and run it, so if I write 12 over here again, then it has been converted to a list, and then after that with our conversion over here, that converting back to a tuple, we have converted over here in this way. Now there is a single element over here, that's why there is a comma in over there. If the comma was not there, then it would have considered it as a string, but because there is a comma, then it will be considered as a tuple, because tuple says that if there is a single element inside a tuple, then we need to add a comma in the end. That is the rule of writing a tuple with a single element. Now moving ahead to our next question. Our next question, it says write a program to find the length of a tuple. So to find the length of a tuple is very simple. We will be using our length method over here. So I'm considering a case of tuple over here. We have a tuple A. All I need to do is find its length. So to find its length, all I need to write is print len of A. Or we can also write it in this way, that the length of the tuple is, and I'll be putting a comma in between an len of a. So if I write over here, it tells me that the length of the tuple is 3. So that is our question over here. Last question that we have over here with us. Let's have a look on it. So our next question, that means our last question over here, says that I write a program to count the number of elements in a tuple. Like suppose if there is a reoccurring element inside a tuple, then we have to write a program to the count of that reoccurring element. So to solve this question, what I'll be doing, I'll be taking example of a tuple over here. I have created a tuple which has few elements, and there are few elements that are reoccurring as well inside our tuple. So what we will be doing, we will be writing a program to count, let's say number 10 over here, and how many times number 10 is occurring over here. For that, all I need to do is write print the number of times 10 is occurring here is, I'll put a comma over here, and then I'll write a dot count, and inside the count I'll be writing what I have to count, that how many times number 10 is occurring over here. So if I run this program, it gives me that the number of times 10 is occurring here is 2 times. So we can clearly see 1 and 2 times our number 10 is occurring in our following tuple. So guys, over here our third question is also done. So these were some basic questions related to tuples. Now with tuples you don't have much questions. Just understand that tuple is a kind of a data that is not mutable. That means once a tuple is created, it cannot be changed. And it is ordered. Yes, we can use multiple data types inside it, and no square brackets are mandatory in tuples. In tuples you can put parentheses, and if you don't want to put any parentheses, then yes, it can go normally without brackets as well. So guys, this was about tuples, and here we are ending the topic with the tuples as well. In our next session we will be learning about dictionaries, so that will be a new topic. So stay connected guys, and I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.